Well, good morning to you. I was getting myself ready this morning and thinking about what I was going to say to you. And it just dropped into my head the book of Nahum. I don't know very much about Nahum himself, except that this was, as it's described in the first verse, that it's a book of the vision of Nahum concerning Nineveh. And we all know, of course, a lot more about Nineveh with regard to Jonah's dealings with it. But what came to me through the first chapter of Nahum wasn't so much that. It was more about who God is. What is his personality? And I just thought I'd like to just read the first few verses of, actually most of the first chapter of Nahum, and we can see the personality of God the Father. And I just thought it was interesting to be able just to meditate on that for a while. From verse 2, I'm reading Nahum chapter 1. God is jealous, and the Lord revengeth. The Lord revengeth, and is furious. The Lord will take vengeance on his adversaries, and he reserveth wrath for his enemies. When I say his personality, of course, those are his actions, if you like, the way that God is. He lets nothing pass him by. And of course, we know his jealousy is not the negative jealousy that we possess, but a jealousy, a desire for everything right that he has created and put into his order. And when that's broken, God goes out on the warpath, as it were, to make it right. The Lord is slow to anger, verse 3, and great in power, and will not at all acquit the wicked. It's an interesting word there, isn't it? Not at all. There's no way out for the wicked. I was listening to a testimony of a man. I think his name is, I'm not sure if his first name's Brian Melvin, or his first name's Brian, his second name's Melvin, I'm not sure. He gives an incredible testimony of having died and gone to hell. And he describes there what he sees. I might put it on the community channel, just for opinion. And it was really quite horrendous. And one could see from it that there is an eternal damnation. And men condemn themselves to it. This is the thing. God doesn't set hell up and say, well, I'm going to punish men. He just says simply that that's where they send themselves. That's the choice they make with the actions that they take on earth. So he will not at all acquit the wicked. The Lord hath his way in the whirlwind and in the storm, and the clouds are the dust of his feet. He's in control of everything, isn't he? He rebuketh the sea, maketh it dry. He has all power in his hands. Drieth up all the rivers. Bashan languisheth, and Carmel, and the flower of Lebanon languisheth. The mountains quake at him, and the hills melt, and the earth is burned at his presence. Yea, the world and all that dwell therein. If people outside of the Lord are listening, and you've just heard this message, and you hear about this person, as it were, that created everything, and everything is under his control, it makes us realize, doesn't it, how small we really are. It goes on here in verse 6, who can stand before his indignation? Who can abide in the fierceness of his anger? His fury is poured out like fire, and the rocks are thrown down by him. He's this great, marvelous God, this awesome God, the one who holds all power in his hands. And then verse 7, the Lord is good, a stronghold in the day of trouble. This is what he is like for us personally, isn't it? And he knoweth them that trust in him. But with an overrunning flood he will make an utter end of the place thereof, and darkness shall pursue his enemies. He may be talking to Nineveh, but he's talking to us too, isn't he? He's talking to the rebellion of man. What do ye imagine against the Lord? He will make an utter end. Affliction shall not rise up the second time. When God deals with his enemies, he deals with them permanently. For while they be folden together as thorns, and while they are drunken as drunkards, they shall be devoured as stubble fully dry. Everything is so certain with God, isn't it? It shall be. I used that word the other day. When something happens, it happens. There's no stopping it. There is one come out of thee that imagineth evil against the Lord, a wicked counsellor. Thus saith the Lord, though they be quiet and likewise many, yet thus shall they be cut down. When he shall pass through, though I have afflicted thee, I will afflict thee no more. There's an end to God's affliction, because he doesn't desire it. It has to happen. But there comes a time when men turn towards him, and God's compassion falls upon them. For now will I break his yoke from off thee, and will burst thy bonds in sunder. And the Lord hath given a commandment concerning thee, that no more of thy name be sown. Out of the house of thy gods will I cut off the graven image and the molten image. I will make thy grave, for thou art vile. God deals with his enemies at a certain time and in a certain way. But then verse 15, there's a prophecy. And we often sing the song, behold the mountains. Another translation says, how lovely on the mountains are the feet of him that bringeth good tidings and publish peace. There's almost a millennial prophecy here where it just ends with this, O Judah, keep thy solemn feasts, perform thy vows, for the wicked shall no more pass through thee. He is utterly cut off. The Lord's enormous power, his great personality, the way he shakes the world, and at the same time, his feet are beautiful. And his intentions for us are beautiful. And sometimes we just are completely neglectful. And if we're not neglectful, we're just ignorant of them. And this morning, I suppose that's really where it's at for me, is just realizing who God is, his great power and his great might. And he has plans for us. He has good news for us. And his feet one day will stand on the Mount of Olives. The Mount of Olives, as it says, will be split in two. And there'll be a glorious time. Sorry about the traffic. But, as we look forward to the weekend, I think we look forward, don't we, to so many things. And I was thinking about that actually just a little bit early on before I stopped here. That we spend so much time thinking about the future, and very often when we think about the future, it's not looking forward to good things. Sometimes it's dreading things that are going to happen. But there's always that great promise, isn't there, with the Lord? We realize who he is, how powerful he is, what he can do to us. But at the same time, in the end, he comes with good news. He comes with beautiful feet. And it reminds me of that chorus, actually. Those of you that know it, I don't know whether it's known in America or around the world, but we used to sing it in the UK. It goes like this. How lovely on the mountains are the feet of him who brings good news, announcing peace, proclaiming news of happiness. Our God reigns, Our God reigns. Our God reigns. Our God reigns. Our God reigns. And that's the ever-present moment, isn't it? He reigns. And he always has, always will be. The same yesterday, today, and forever. Have a blessed weekend.